Hello guys, it's been a while. So today I'm gonna bring something a bit different. I know this is mainly a channel I used to upload a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh content, but around last week, if I'm not wrong, I got the opportunity to play the Spring Cup Cardfight in Puerto Rico. Uh, I'm a really huge fan of Cardfight. Usually I enjoy playing it a lot, but it's really hard to learn how to play the game like competitively because the amount of resources that you have is limited around how many players you have in your area. And Puerto Rico is vaguely known for, or at least I know Cardfight in Puerto Rico as a card game that's basically slowly dying due to the fact that our player community is not too large. It's large enough where you can meet up and play with some friends, but not large enough to the scale of Yu-Gi-Oh where you can just walk up to the store, probably find somebody that's playing, sit down and play a match. Uh, so for the Spring Cup, I joined in two teams for both formats, V-Premium and Premium, mainly because I mainly play Premium and I wanted to join V-Premium since there was only, at the start of the tournaments, the only people that were searching for one additional player was this team called the Rogues Gallery for V-Premium. And I joined them. This is the deck list I used. And without further ado, I'll show you the deck list I piloted. We didn't top, either in Premium or V-Premium, and I feel like it's really hard to play this deck, mainly, well, due to the lack of practice. But honestly, I couldn't lie, I really enjoyed playing it. So, sorry for getting 2 minutes into the video and explaining a bit of the competitive scene in Puerto Rico. We have starter Drag Prince Root, it's basic starter. So this is a grade 3 Reliant deck, or in this case we're just playing Luard. We play playset of Dragged Heart. He basically pilots the whole deck, he removes 2 and you draw 1. And second effect is for each level 1 on your graveyard, you reduce the cost by 1 for the counterblast, and if you may return 2 normal units from your graveyard into the deck and ride the other Luard, which is Drag Driver. Please keep in mind that this deck was piloted around Sunday 29th of 2022. So yes, Revengers were a huge thing that came out, but at the time of recording, or at the time of not recording, at the time of playing the tournament, I didn't know about them, and this is what I had in hand, so I wasn't gonna sit down and learn how to play another archetype entirely. So basically you just play the Luard lines. This Luard lets you play Luards up to the amount of Luards you have in Soul, so usually you would be searching 2, and it really came up quite a bit. After that we played 3 Danger Launch Dragon. This was our finisher, so we would use these Luard package to fuel up our soul into him to get our imaginary gift force. And with them we would soul blast at level 3, well, a grade 3. Swing in with big numbers. I think it's, well, you would be swinging with like 2 force markers plus 10k, so it's like 43 plus whatever's boosting him, and then his effect gives you restrict for perfect guard, so it made it fine. Next up, grade 2 game was kind of a rough matchup. I didn't know exactly what to play, since I know that the Morian Spear package, like the playset of Morian Spear Dragons, were really good, and also Blue Spada Dragon. Slight issue is that when I was gonna buy them, they all spiked up. So we're talking about Morian Spear Dragons were like $40 each, Blue Spadas were like $10 each. So we opted for the next best thing, playset of Leo Falls. This guy really gives you the best grade 2 game. You would search up any grade 1s that you wanted from the deck, and it really held up on the games. And then playset of Morphesas. Uh, they're a weird card in the sense that a lot of times you don't want to write her on your vanguard, but if you get to like play her like turn 3 and onwards, she would become a great extender for like basic attack turns and would give you another boost since you would try to go turn 1, well, turn 3 Luard, go into drag driver, and then turn back, and then following turn just play into this Luard again. You would just give her crits. So she would give you a free swing and then revive something, which is really good. Our grade 1 lineup is looking as follows. So you may think, basically our grade 3s were our whole lineup, were our whole game plan. So we play a playset of Branwen and a playset of Nias. The way it works is that you're trying to define your grade 3s. Branwen can search anything this searches for grade 2 Leofall, or our grade 3 Luard, or regular Luard. So usually I tended to keep hands where I saw one of them and didn't saw them because it would help you dig in faster. The problem with this is that a lot of times you would basically be left with 2 grade 1s, grade 2, and 2 triggers if you just draw them. You would be writing Branwen, search top 5, and you ended up drawing the wrong Lord, Drag Driver. And it really hurt the way your deck played, because you're just trying to write the regular one, so I opted to play Ian's because I just wanted to see the regular Lord. Same issue came up, a lot of times I was digging like 12 to 20 cards and I couldn't find them. After that we have our grade 1, like after our searchers and our best grade 1s essentially, because Branwen goes call her to rearguard, check top 5, get the Danger Launch Dragon, pitch a Luard that we don't need, so that Luard, recycle it with the other, write it, then just go in it. We play double Dillolt, double Belial. Dillolt gets a grade 1 or top card soul charge when it's called from another unit, so it came up a few times where you just soul charge and really just goes into it. And Belial, if we were on same grade, I soul charge, soul blast, and then draw 1. If we were on the same grade, if not, counter blast. This gave me grind game, this gave me resources. So if I was gonna play a more control-based matchup, I would just loop the Nias and this, draw off of this, and remove cards with the Nias. And on sometimes when I just needed another grade 3, I would just go Dilalt, Soul Charge 1, and since we're playing around 11 grade 3s, you would Soul Charge the one that you needed. For our last 2, we have Decramps and Loyals. Decramps is crazy. A lot of times he would just be the first call on the rear guard, and I would just leave something like this, another rear guard and another rear guard, just wing in, and the rear guards that you have left over just become free guard fodder, because they get intercept as long as I'm on grade 3, which is really good. And Leo's is just another way to push for game. If they touched graveyard, I could just recycle them with my Luard. So it basically made it really good. Next up, for triggered lineup, we played a playset of Heal Guardian, 2 playsets of crits, and lastly a playset of Magdivores. Something that I was thinking about while in the process of reviewing this deck list and before thinking of this whole should I or should I not deck profile Cardfight Vanguard decks, came up to mind to ask why just play PGs that are draw triggers instead of just playing regular grade 1s that you can recycle. And throughout making this video, or not necessarily throughout making this video, but throughout the decision making of whether I should or not make this video, I came to the realization that it's good that you can recycle your grade 1s. But most of the time, you really need that extra card. That draw card can really save you a game, maybe help you get in clutch that one extra card that you need. It punishes your opponent for giving you damage and lets you draw a card. If you drive check it, you're gaining a +1. It just nets you advantage in a matchup. In some matchups, it's really good. In some matchups, it's really bad. So yeah, our whole plan is play Luard. Like, our perfect right line is go Great 3 Searcher, so any of these 8. That's our ideal one. If they damage us, we go Luard, well, Leoful. Then, if we can, we just go Leoful and start playing Leoful game plan. And what made it hard to pilot this deck is not the fact that it's necessarily hard to pilot it. It's just that it's intensive to consider the amount of matchups you can have in Cardfight. Compared to Yu-Gi-Oh!, you have a lot of matchups that you have to take into account because, at least while there is established meta, played a lot of decks that I haven't played against. Of course, you could say that I was unprepared to play them, and that's totally fair and totally true. But when you're thrown into a spot where you're just trying to learn a matchup that you haven't practiced against, it comes down to the point where you boil down, okay, what do I do? Do I just try to grind them, or I just go and rush them? And as you may see, this deck does not have a way to countercharge. Everything just eats either soul or it just counterblasts to do effects. And that's a big issue too. That means that you have to learn how to manage your resources, because again, you just don't counterblast immediately whatever you want. For example, if you need card advantage, yeah, you can counterblast for Rebellion Owls, but you can consider you can use them later in another turn to Soul Blast. You have removal with Soul Blast. And you also have to consider, do I want to call more units, or do I want to go for a push game? Or do I want to call more units, which if you're calling more units off of them, you're doing it well? Or, well, just that. Do I want to keep up my crits, or do I just want to swing in with big damage and gain games? So yeah, that's the deck profile. Again, I'll go over my premium deck profile in another video. Probably will upload it right after this one and just start making it right now. But this is the premium V-Premium build. It's control / mid-range deck, I guess. Thanks for watching. I'm going to start with the premium one.